Hi Chelsea fans, welcome to the next video on the channel, and this is a look back at the season. Now this is inspired by the new documentary on the fifth stand, Frank Lampard Coming Home. It's an excellent documentary, 6-parter. It's only about 13-14 minutes each episode. I've taken the time to watch it through my lunch break and it's actually good. It is really good, I have to say, and it put things into perspective for me. And so this particular video is looking back at 10 key points that we have to remember when we look back at this season. I know other channels have done what we've learned from this season, but I wanted to do it myself. As I say, it's just something that I think we can go a little bit more in depth into. So stick with me, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to see all 10. Let's get cracking. So first up, the first major point to note is Frank Lampard himself, who's come back into the club having had a season at Derby where he did well. He lost the playoff final on penalties with Villa, losing to Aston Villa, as we all know. He was written off. Chelsea were written off once he was appointed, saying he hasn't got enough experience as a manager. Chelsea had taken a risk and a gamble. What if this goes wrong for a club legend? The thing is that Frank Lampard is Chelsea. He's a Chelsea boy now. He loves the club. He feels the club, and he spoke of that when he first took over, and he wanted to get that message across. He wanted every single player to know what it feels to be Chelsea and to buy into that. And that was key for Frank Lampard when he first came in. He had exposure around 5 months or so working with Jody Morris and Joe Edwards in the academy, being involved in their training and the coaching side of things. He got to know the players. He's obviously knows Jody Morris from his time at Chelsea as a player. They've got a close friendship, which we've seen. But he then got to know Joe Edwards. And when he was appointed, he brought in Joe Edwards. He brought in Jody. Obviously, Eddie Newton was involved before he's left to go manage in Turkey. With the appointment of Petr Cech as the sporting/technical director, it was a brilliant time, and all of us were excited. But not only that, what's also important to point out here is all of us as Chelsea fans knew where we were when Frank Lampard came in. We knew what we were to expect, and our expectation levels, if we're all honest, would have been to finish somewhere near top 6, and that would be a great season for us. So that's what we were looking at. And then obviously Frank has come through and we finished where we have, but more on that in later video. But Frank himself has held himself fantastically well over the course of the season. He's bluntly honest, blatantly honest. He speaks well. You can tell he's an educated man. He's got quite a high IQ. He's someone that holds himself well. He communicates with his players, which is clear. And I think for Frank Lampard's first season, we'll get to that at the end. Secondly, it's obviously, with Frank coming in, it's the academy players. Knowing we had the ban, knowing that we couldn't sign anybody, and we're going to have to bolster the squad with players that have had experience out on loan in the Championship, haven't got much experience in the Premier League or none at all. We knew it was going to be a period of transition. Think of the academy players that have come through into the first team that have made, I'd say, sort of regular-ish appearances, and I say that based on Billy Gilmore. But think Fikayo Tomori, Reece James, Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi to a point, and of course Tammy Abraham. Now, it's a massive gamble when you do that, when you put players in with no experience. Bearing in mind we've already lost Eden Hazard in the summer and we couldn't replace him. He was a massive loss, Eden Hazard. He won games by himself. And to ask the academy players to step up and to try and form a collective, form a core of a squad, and to try and build on where we were last year, to try and go again, and to put something together and to settle into the squad with the experienced players and to make a push and try to achieve the standards that have been set over the last 15 years or so, was always going to be a big ask. But you have to say they delivered. The end result that we've got, they've delivered. And I'll get more on that in a second, but You think of the impact each of those players has had at some point or other in the season, and you can only be impressed going forward. And the thing to remember is that they're going to learn from all of this. The third point I want to talk about is the fact that we've had bad times this season. We all know we've had some bad times. We've had bad results. We couldn't buy a home win beginning of the season for love nor money. We've had really bad moments. You think of the FA Cup final defeat. You think about the 2 games against Bayern Munich. Man United beat us 3 times. We've lost games where, Sheffield United, we drew at home being 2-0 up. Then we got thumped 3-0 away. We lost to Southampton. We lost to West Ham twice. It's been times where it's been a struggle. And as you would have seen on social media, the toxic Chelsea fan base with these so-called fans who just on there for whatever purpose, I don't understand, go full out, and it becomes such a toxic environment, social media. And yes, we've been bad, but the thing is that these players, this has been their first season in the Premier League, these youngsters. As a squad, they need to learn to be consistent. They need to learn from the bad times to go forward. If you keep winning things and win things and you just expect that as a norm, although you're going to enjoy the moments and learn from them, you're never going to learn from FA Cup final defeat and sitting there having to watch Arsenal celebrate. You learn more on that day than you probably would if you go on a long run of winning games. It's taking these bad moments, digesting them, learning from them, and kicking on again is what Frank and the management staff and his technical staff and what the players will be looking to do next season. You can't buy bad experiences. You go through them, you've got to learn from them. They hurt at the time, of course they hurt, but you have to go again. And that's something that we'll probably look back on in a year or so and think that was actually key, those moments, because we've learnt from it. You can see how much the team's improved, hopefully, fingers crossed. But as I say, you have to learn from the bad times. That's the message that Frank's got across in this documentary series, and I'm sure the players, looking back in their break and when they come back, will learn again. The fourth point is the Champions League. Chelsea were back in the Champions League with the young squad, the academy players, and had exposure to it. And the exposure, obviously we lost against Valencia. We made life difficult for ourselves at times, but we bounced back. We beat Ajax in their own backyard with one of the best performances of the season. Structured, organised, beat them. We come back from being behind against Ajax and got a fantastic 4-4. If anything, we should have gone on and won the game. Brilliant response from the players. It's just moments like that. Obviously, as I said before, Bayern was a negative, but none of us expected Chelsea to try and progress through the group. We'd hoped that they probably would do. And they did well to get through. They'll learn from it. They'll learn from that exposure. And that is key. That is really, really key. And it's another positive point, you have to say. Fifth point this season, we beat Tottenham home and away. 2 great performances. 2 fantastic performances. And who remembers Frank and the players celebrating at Tottenham, having beaten them in the new stadium as much as we did? The celebrations were there. Frank has spoken after, or it's been revealed that Frank wanted the players in his pre-match team talk. He wanted to get the message across of what it felt to be a Chelsea fan going into that game, and he wanted the players to feel it, to live it, and to play like it, and they all did. What more can you ask for? The sixth point I want to make is the standout moments in other games this season. Think of Norwich away. Tammy Abraham got his first goals for the club. Leicester at home. Mason Mount scores on his home debut. Southampton away, we beat them 4-1. We beat Burnley away 4-2. Christian Pulisic with his hat-trick. Wolves away, a 5-2 victory. Everton at home, 4-0. There's been some real good, solid, fantastic performances from Chelsea. And that's something that we all have to remember. Seventh point I want to make is the top 4 race. And bearing in mind, no one gave us a hope. All the pundits didn't back Chelsea to finish top 4. We did it. we finished 4th. Think of the lockdown. Think of the games that come back. We won 5 out of our 8 Premier League games and we sealed the top 4 finish. And in doing so, we beat Man City at home in a great performance. We beat Wolves at home. We beat Palace away. We beat Watford at home. And we beat Norwich at home. It was great. A massive achievement for everyone at the football club this season. Let's put it into perspective. Positive for this season. But we go again and we want more and we want better next year. But Frank Lampard has delivered Champions League football for a second consecutive season with a team and a squad full of academy players. And you have to commend it. It's been a brilliant feat. Point 8, Christian Pulisic. Now, a lot is made of Eden Hazard leaving, transfer ban. Christian Pulisic was a done deal halfway through the season before Eden Hazard left the club. He came into Chelsea and a bit of a slowish start. Then he got his hat-trick at Burnley and he seemed to fly. And he, right up until the FA Cup final when he done his hamstring, Christian Pulisic has provided us with glimpses and moments that he can be the next big thing in the Premier League. He can be someone that if he keeps developing and improving, can get somewhere near the levels of Eden Hazard, if not better. He's young, he's got time on his side. He's got outstanding ability. We've seen he can score goals, he can create and assist. We've seen that he can be the difference. Think the Man City game. He scores a goal from absolutely nothing at home. He is someone, Liverpool, for example, Premier League game, we're behind, he comes on, turns the game, changes the game. He's someone that, along with Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, is so exciting for next season. Christian Pulisic has to be a positive. The 9th point I want to make is the FA Cup run. Yes, we lost to Arsenal in the FA Cup final. But think of our run to the FA Cup final itself and the teams we beat, in particular in the 3 rounds previously. And it shows you that we have the capability to beat anybody in our league on our day. And we're only going to get better. We beat Liverpool at home. We beat Leicester, who were fighting for top 4 and were 3rd place or even 2nd in that moment. We also beat Man United in the FA Cup semi-final comfortably. We completely bossed and dominated Man United. They had been 18 or so games unbeaten. We dominated them and thumped them 3-1. They only scored their goal for a dodgy penalty. On our day, on that particular day, we outplayed United. We lost 3 times to them in the season. On that day, we bossed it. And that's massive. A massive achievement. As I say, you think Liverpool, Leicester and United, it was a great run. And finally, the 10th point I want to make is it's been overall, when you look back at everything, it's a positive. We have to feel positive about it. We have to feel positive about where we thought we'll be at the beginning of the season to where we finished. The development of players, the experience of players, Christian Pulisic, as I said, and moments that we learned from. Frank Lampard worked with a squad that he inherited, including the youngsters that he brought in, but he inherited that squad and those players. He's now got a chance to put his stamp on the squad, and he started with the likes of Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner coming in, with more on the horizon. Obviously there'll be players leaving. Willian and Pedro have gone. Players will be coming in, players will be leaving. But when we kick off the very first game of the new season in a couple of weeks' time, it'll be interesting to see how the Chelsea team lines up. Give Frank another couple of transfer windows and you'll begin to see, or you should then see, what Frank was moulded into what he believes is a team that will take us forward to challenge for trophies and Premier League title. And it has to be a positive. We finished top 4. We've got a manager and a squad that's gained valuable experience and will kick on, learn from it and go again. We've got exciting signings coming in. So we finish up despite the highs, despite all the lows and despite the dramas. We finish on a positive note and we can only be positive going forward into the new season. So for me, that's been the 10 points I wanted to include in this particular video as we look back on last season, just ahead of the new season and pre-season starting. Let me know what you think about any of the points I've raised and what you think about our season in the comment section below. Smash that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when my videos come out, which is normally daily. Sometimes there might be a day or so in between. But yeah, so let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Stay positive, keep positive, ignore negative comments on social media. See you all tomorrow.